Now, here, children, as I was teaching you that when the writer visited Mr. Jasler's shop after a long time, then he found there a new owner of the shop, and that young man told the writer that last week Mr. Jasler was died due to hunger, and he told him that there was a downfall in his business for a very long time, but he always was devoted to his business, to his profession as a true artist, and he had carried on his business. And according to the doctors, he has died due to starvation. Now, the writer was shocked to hear that such an true artist how died. It was a shocking news for him because he was not a professional person, and a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, जब उसे ऑर्डर मिलता था, he took him such a time. He always prepared the order in the decided time. People won't wait, but there is a time that people can't wait. People had no time for waiting. He lost everything due to his professional business, professional principles. He lost his everybody, and here he'd sit. He always sitting here, going on and on. He was carrying on his business, but there was a downfall in his business. People were not interested to order him because they can't wait. I will say that for him, not a man in London made a waiter boot. But in London, no, there's no any cobbler that can make the shoe like Mr. Jasler. What is the use of such profession? What is the use of such an art, such an artist who was so devoted to his business, to his profession, and such devoted person died due to starvation? What is the use such of an artist? And it was a question before the readers that Mr. Galsworthy has always written the stories, novels, and plays based on the social problems. And this is also based on the social problems that how a devoted artist, what is the pitiable condition, what a pathetic condition of such a man that such an artist like Mr. Jasler has died due to starvation. But look at competition. Again, the young man was carry on to tell the business rules to Mr. Galsworthy that what is the use of such principles? It is, but look at the competition. And he again said that look at the competition in the market. It is the throat cut competition in the market. He never advertised, but he never advertised of his company, of his shoes. Would have the best leather too. He always used the best leather and do it all himself. And he always did every work himself. Well, there is it. Now he is no more in this world. But what could you expect with his ideas? But what is the use of such ideas that he never compromised with his rules, with his principles of his life? And he was always devoted to his business. But he can't change himself according to the time, and this was the reason that in this period, in this great competition, throat cut competition of business, he had destroyed himself and destroyed his business also. But the writer was again shocked. He can't believe that such an artist can be died with starvation. What starvation? Then again the young man reported, that may be a bit flowery. As the saying is, जैसा लोग कहते हैं, but I know myself, he was sitting over his boots. He was found sitting over his boots day and night to the very last you see. As last you see him, that he was always seen sitting on his boots. I used to watch him. I always, whenever I passed from there, I always found him sitting on his boots, watching. Never gave himself time to eat. And that was the reason he was so busy in his work, he was so devoted in his work that he never got time to eat. Never had a penny in the house. But it was the bitter reality that he was penniless. And that was the reason he had a penny in his house. He had never a penny in his house, all bent in rent. And everything has whatever he earned, he always invested in the rent. All bent in rent and leather. How he lived so long, how he passed his time to so long, I don't know. I can't say how he passed such a long time in the uh, in spite of so downfall in his business. He regularly let his fire go out. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character. He was a character, but he made good shoes. He was an ideal person. And what according to the present situation, according to the competitive world, there is no use of such a character, not there is no use of such a principles, and there is no use such a character and honesty that Mr. Jessler has set up an example in the form of an artist who was devoted to his art. But what is the result? That there was so downfall in his business that he at last he became penniless and he died of hunger. And he died of hunger due to starvation. He died and lost his life. And yes, I said, and again I said he made good boots. And again the writer repeated his words that he made good boots. वो बहुत ही अच्छे जूते बनाया करता था. That student, it is the pathetic end of the life of an artist like Mr. Jessler, who was devoted to his business, who was devoted to his profession, and shoemaking was an art for him, and he was a true artist. But again, I am giving you a lesson that if you are unable to change yourself according to the changing of time, then you can't survive in this world. Such is the message of this lesson. And John Galsworthy is telling us about the social cruelty of today's life that is called in this business that always the big firms are destroying the small shopkeepers like Jessler, and they are losing their business. And the end of this came that at last they destroyed themselves. It was the pathetic end of this true artist. Now, with this, I am closing my video, and you have to find the total questions of this chapter, and I send you complete PDF of this chapter. And with it we have completed 5 chapters in this book. Now next day we will start the poem, fifth poem of this chapter in honeycomb. Okay students, goodbye.